exploring their relationship, their individual relationship with the client, which before they would have had, definitely, but they weren't aware of, they weren't conscious of their relationship. So in a discovery awareness meeting, I suppose the preparation is that I've made 2 video clips of the client, very short ones, just 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes maximum. One clip will be of the client just in free movement, no demands, just what they normally naturally do every day. And the second clip is with just a small, quite a slight demand, not enough to make anybody anxious, but just asking a client to do something is the content of the second clip. So in the meeting, I explain what is going to happen in the meeting, the structure of what's going to happen, what we're going to do first, what we're going to do next, and that kind of thing. And what we do first is kind of summarise what's brought us to this meeting. So we talk about what the client's behaviour is like, and what that means to the client, what the effect is for the client, and what the effect is for the staff as well. So we've got these 3 kind of things on a flip chart, very briefly. And then we'll watch the 2 clips all the way through, of nobody talking, just concentrating on the clip, just to give us an idea of what we're going to look at a little bit later on. So we look through both clips, so about 4, 5, 6 minutes, and then at the end of that I ask them to write their impression, without any discussion. So I want everybody's individual impression about the client and what struck them about the client. And I get them to write it down on paper. So the discussion that follows is really about each individual members of staff, about their own impression. And that's unusual because most in meetings people start sharing their discussions and people say, oh yes, I see that, I'm with you, kind of thing. And I don't want that. I want people to, I want as much detail as possible from each individual person. And usually that works very, very easily if I've structured it right, because each person will see the same thing in a different way. And then we move on to the second part of the meeting, the second viewing of the video, and that happens in a much more considered way, much more detailed way, because I ask the staff to stop me when they stop the film, stop the video, when they see something interesting. So we go through the clips the second time with people throwing in comments and ideas. So that takes a long time, well not a long time, it takes most of the time of the meeting, and at the end of that part I'll try and draw things to a close by bringing it all together, and again keeping the individual views separate from each other but putting them on the flip chart. And the last part of the meeting is really about inviting these people, the staff, to explore what they found interesting about the client, and that's quite a motivational thing. So they've already expressed some interest in their client in a particular individual way, and the aim of the last part of the meeting is to encourage that motivation so that they then take it forward into their work later that day, the next week, in preparation for the next meeting, which will happen next week or 2 weeks later. And so the next meeting is kind of building on that motivation to try and get them to continue working in this way and exploring their relationship, their individual relationship with the client, which before they would have had, definitely, but they weren't aware of, they weren't conscious of their relationship.